I'm tired. I'm tired, folks. I just wanna be indoor. Okay, why am I singing? Also, Kate has like a whole wig attached to here. I literally just want to stay home tonight, but alas, I have a stand-up show, but I am really excited to see my buddy's show. He's in this musical tonight, Drunk Little Mermaid. Under the sea. Okay. Ooh.
Why do you deny yourself heaven?
This whole day, I have been having rancid anxiety, so I need medicine, probably. And now there's a girl and a guy breaking up.
I wrote a bunch today, so hopefully my new jokes work.
Now here's something. Maybe some of y'all don't know this, because literally who even am I? I have a DUI. I'm sorry! I'm f***ing sorry. I have a DUI. I got it 3 weeks after I turned 20 years old. And I was down in Orange County where my parents were living at the time. And I was at my parents' apartment about to go out with my crazy party friend. And just like a few weeks earlier, I had celebrated my 20th birthday in Vegas. How did that happen? Because my friend Kim, her sister, does anyone care? Her sister's husband runs all these nightclubs in Vegas. And so I just used a fake ID and I had myself a time. And then I was kind of feeling a little cocky and I'm like, okay, I can just party anywhere. So anyway, so I make these plans to go out with like my Orange County friends, and my mom, right before I was leaving my mom's apartment, she was like, Harper-Rose, I'm just feeling like something really bad is gonna happen to you tonight. Now, is my mom psychic or did she curse me? I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, so I go out with my crazy party friend and I'm like, okay, because I'm driving. I've never drank and drove before this, by the way. I've never drinking and drove. But I'm like, it's only a few miles up from my parents. I'm going to go. I'll have 2 beers max. We're going to go party with some Marines, and that's on serving. No, that's actually crazy. I was a virgin at the time and scared of the world. We were partying with these Marines. One drink turns into 15, I'm doing shots. There was this one Marine who was like, he had been like really pushing me to drink the whole night, and it's my fault for doing it, but I'm shy, and peer pressure, it works on me. Can we talk about that? Everyone's like, don't be peer pressured. It works on me. And what? It still does to this day. 31? If you ask me enough times, I'll do it. But no backdoor stuff. Get out of my butt. This is a chaotic one. My energy is crazy. Anyway, I go out drinking and everywhere I'm going. So it was my real ID, and I would just paint over it. I would take the back of my earring, dip it in nail polish, and then just like alter the ID. She's crafty. And drinking, was absolutely hammered, but I'm like, I got this. I'm confident. I can drive home. And then this Marine was like trying to get me to hook up with him. I'm like, no, I don't love my country that much, so chill the out. Sorry, I'm not a patriot. Then I lock him out of my car. I reverse. It's a one-way street. And in my head, I know that, and I'm gonna turn around, but right as I reverse, the cop goes, woo, woo, like, and then she just pulls right up, and it's her and this like hunchback guy. Honestly, he was probably just normal, but in my drunken head, I'm like, scary, scary. And so Miss Girl comes up with her flashlight. She's like, have you been drinking tonight? And I'm like, a little. I'm like, maybe it won't be that bad if I'm honest. I'm like, yeah, I'm drunk, girl. A drunk, sis. No, I didn't say that. I was like, yes. And then she's like, how old are you? I'm like, I'm 20. So, ugh. And she's like, let me see your ID. And then she goes, ooh, this is how I know you're drunk, because this says you're 23. And I go, oh. So if you want, you can just scratch that off. I painted over it with nail polish. And at this point, I remember I was like kind of proud, because I'm like, I'm being such a good girl. I'm being so honest. Okay. And it turns out I was being a bad girl, because she goes, oh, interesting. Do you know that this is a felony to tamper with a government document? And I was like, I did not know that. So she goes, okay, great. So I'm going to search your car now for coke. And I go, well, I don't consent to that. And then she goes, good news, I'm a cop. And I said, oh, that is good news. And that is good news. So here we go. So I get out of the car. I'm wearing a purple tube top, no bra, EM alert, and then a black long skirt. And she searches me in public, not strip search, but like might as well have been. And she's like, I know you're hiding. She was obsessed with me having coke. And I'm like, do you want some? No, low-key, I did have a kiss of coke on me, but that's neither here nor there. Like, don't be that desperate. Life lessons. But so she searches the car. She does all these tests on me, and I do the walking test, fail. I think the alphabet, but honey, I can't even say the alphabet sober, so that, you know. Sue me! Then she makes me do this eye test where you have to face forward. She takes her finger and she puts it right in front of me, and you have to just follow the finger with your eyes and not move your head. Now, apparently, when you're drunk, your eyes bounce. And unfortunately, my Al-Anon-ic ass then took this little test, and I did it to so many of my exes. They hated it, and me. But anyway, so then she goes, good news, good news, good news. You're drunk. And I go, good news. I already told you that. And she makes me blow. I blew something insane, like a 0.12 or something. Like I should have had alcohol poisoning. I was wasted. Then we go to the station. This is in Laguna Beach. So it's like the Ritz-Carlton of jails. I go to the station, we pull in, and she was like, hey. Okay, my friend is literally here to pick me up, so I'm gonna finish the story tonight.
You got your bumble in there, a bumble too over here. Yeah, bumble be working. This shit didn't work for me.
Damn, we're back. Sorry, guys. Well, actually, why am I literally apologizing? You don't know that I came home, ate chicken nuggets, and then passed out. So we pull into the little station in Laguna Beach, and she turns around, and I'm handcuffed in the back, just feeling like, oh, this is, you know when you can just feel a bottom? You're like, oh, it looks nice down here in the rockiest of bottoms. But then she goes, hey, so I'm about to take you in, and I just want you to know that the second I take you into the station, if I find any drugs on you, that is a huge felony. You can do a lot of jail time. So just tell me right now, do you have drugs on you? And I'm like, no, I don't. This is the point where I started getting emotional. I was like, I don't know what your issue is. You keep pushing out like that I have coke. I don't have coke. I was just drunk. Now here's the thing. I was just drunk, but I did have a kiss of coke. I also had recently gotten my wisdom teeth out, so in a little Tylenol, and I had a small purse, dainty, and I had put, you know, a little sprinkle of my La Coca, and then I had put my wisdom teeth medicine, and then at the time I was just slightly dabbling with recreational use of Klonopin and Percocet. Sometimes our lowest lows are actually coming to us right on time. Because if I didn't get this Dewey, I actually shudder to think about where I would have gone. Now, did I get back in? Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay. Anyway, so she was like, look, like, I'm gonna search you. And I'm like, okay, girl. Like, at this point, I'm like, do you want me? Like, okay. I've never had someone try this hard. Like, but anyway, so then she goes through my purse, and you'll never believe this. She found the bottle, and she was like, hey, so remember what I just said? And I'm like, no, look. And I open my mouth, and at this point I go, oh my God, I think I am my father, because the way that I'm gaslighting right now is lethal. But then I go, no, look, I show her my molars, and I go, look, I just had my wisdom teeth out, and you can see the stitches. That medicine is just, and she's like, well, there's powder in here. And I was like, girl, it's because it broke off from the medicine because I was dancing, and it's just excess from the pills.
What? That's why these chicks dye their hair and get all tatted. They're telling you how poisonous they are.
I feel like she took something out of my purse. Maybe it was just my dignity. So I don't get charged with any, you know, felony for tampering with a government ID. I don't get charged with having miscellaneous pills and a Tylenol thing. And that is the white privilege showing, because, honey, especially being in Orange County, I shudder to think how that would have gone if I wasn't a blonde little white dum-dum. So then we walk into the station, and and it's a tiny little station, right? And she handcuffs me to a bench, and I'm kind of crying, and then they're all laughing at me, and I distinctly remember that. And they kept calling me Lindsay Lohan. I'm so much drama, I'm the talk of every town. Oh, okay. and they were asking about like my hopes and dreams, and then I was drunk, so I'm like, I want to be an entertainer in LA, and they're like, okay, yeah, well, you're on your way, Miss Lindsay Lohan, and I'm like, okay, groundbreaking boomer ass humor. So then they take my blood again, and they go, okay, so we can either take it by blood or you can blow, and I go, oh, well, I'll just blow. And then they were like, okay, great, we actually don't want to do that, so we're going to. And that's why they handcuffed me to the wall. And then they took it by blood, and they took a lot. And I was like, okay, you literally are obsessed with me. But I was like, honey, I just said I don't want to do this. And then they kept like, they kept mocking me. And I was like, ACAB for real, because y'all are ugly. Then take my mugshot, couldn't be crying more. They asked if I wanted a phone call. I declined. I said, no one needs to. I think we're good. My parents live in the next town over. They don't live in Laguna. They live a little bit more south. But I was just like, I'm real close. I'll see him in the morning. Dear God, this is unfortunate because I'm gonna have to tell them what just happened, but see him in the morning. We'll figure it out. So anyways, I'm in jail, or in like a holding cell rather. This hair, now y'all see why I wear extensions, because I'm really over this. I'm in the little holding cell. Then I can hear this drunk man in the cell like next door to me, and legit, my stupid, and then like I hear like my friends that have gone to county for like, you know, one of my friends robbed a 7-Eleven and stole beef jerky, and he's like, I just spent the night in county, and I'm just like, okay. But this, I'm very fortunate, was not too egregious, but there was this man yelling next door, and I legit was like, it's like orange is the new black in here. And then I remember I had like black nail polish on, and I'm marking every time I think an hour has gone by. I think I was marking every 15 minutes, and I'm like, God, I've been in here for like 17 hours. They just made me wait until the alcohol wears off, so probably was like 8 hours. Maybe 6. And then in the morning they finally let me out. I walked to my car. It's beautiful Laguna Beach, so that now it's the morning, so now there's families out, they're pushing their kids, they have little dogs, and I'm walking with like my plastic bag full of they wouldn't let me. I had to take my bra off, and I was like, y'all some pervs. So ooh, but so then I'm walking with my little bag of shit, just makeup down my face. I'm like, and they had driven my car closer to the station, and I get in it and I just drive home, and I didn't have any music on or anything, and I'm just in silence, and I could just feel, oh, my life is going to be different from this point. Now, when I got home, that was tough. So I walk in, and my parents, they didn't know, but they knew, right? So I like walk in, and I wasn't living with my parents at the time. I was just down there for the weekend. Because again, I was supposed to only go out and have like a couple drinks with my friend. I had lied and said I was going to a movie because I got strict parents, even in adulthood. And then obviously that turned into drinks, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, I walk in, and it's at like 7:38 in the morning now. And I walk in, and my parents had been up all night weeping. And when I didn't come home, my dad had gone out driving on the freeway because he was like, oh no, our daughter has died. And so he was running all over, like looking for the car, crashed somewhere. Then my mom had been calling other police stations. Don't call Laguna girl. Okay, that's crazy. And then they were calling hospitals and just trying to like find out where I was. So then when I walk in and I was okay, I was like, I have something really awful to tell you. And then my parents were like, it's okay. And my parents, by the way, they're not gentle people. They're not tender. So they didn't scream at me or anything. And I was just like, why? And I'm weeping, and I'm telling them like, hey, I just got a DUI. And my dad's like, yeah, we figured this is what we were doing all night. We were so worried about you. Why wouldn't you call? And I'm like, well, I didn't want you to be mad. They're like, hey, guess what? We love you, and we were scared. And I was like, well, you guys are actually scarier than the police, so I would have rather stayed there in silence. So run up on that. Then I was just like, oh, like what's gonna happen? And my parents were like, well, you're gonna sell your car, you're paying for a lawyer, and you're paying, like, this is gonna be 10 to 17 grand. I was like 11, and they're like, it's gonna be 10 to 17 grand. So yeah, we don't have money, like we're not paying for that. You're paying for all of this, you're selling your car, and good luck. I was like, damn, it's really like that sometimes, I guess. And then yeah, I just remember they were like really sweet, and I just laid in bed all day, and I just was weeping, and I felt like such a piece of shit. And I found out, I don't know if my dad has one. He should have one. And so should my fucking mom, so run up on that. Maybe that's why they weren't mad, because they literally drove drunk all the time, sometimes with me in the car. So just doing like my parent. No, okay, that's actually no. But found out my uncle has like 3. Someone else in my family has 1. I was just like, okay, so this family is actually full of winners if you really think about it. But anyways, then shortly after that, that's when I got diagnosed with epilepsy. So God was really like, bitch, you're gonna be a passenger princess. But now, 11 years later, I'm finally eligible to get my license back from, obviously the probation was only 3 years long, and then my epilepsy I now have it under control. So now the only princess I'm gonna be is Pillow. No, just kidding. Okay, and also, my lawyer ended up getting, shout out to Michael Fell, he was the bassist from Third Eye Blind's lawyer when he got his Dewey. And he had a picture of them on his desk. And he said, Harper-Rose, I want you to look at this picture. Do you see this band right here? And I said, yeah. He's like, arguably one of the most famous bands in the 90s. And I go, yeah, early 2000. And I go, yeah. And I go, at every white person's barbecue, Third Eye Blind's bumping. What's up? And he goes, well, honey, this just goes to show you can still up and still continue to have a good life. He's like, this doesn't have to be where it ends. And I was like, okay. And then he's like, what are your dreams? So then again, I tell him. And then he goes, well, why don't you, next time I see you, bring me a headshot, sign it, and I'm going to keep it right here. So that way, when you have your success story, I can use this as an example to the next young person that slips up. And it was really sweet. So then I gave him a headshot of mine and I signed it, Stay Thirsty. I remember I was on probation for 3 years, and I had to go to traffic school for 6 months. It was in this little attic of this, it was in the attic of like a bar in Hollywood, and it was really grimy and dungy. And the person that was leading it, we would just watch episodes of Intervention all day. The guy that was leading those, the guy that was leading the traffic school classes I had to go to for 6 months, I can't remember his name. Probably shouldn't even say it for what I'm about to say, but he was really funny and really nice. I was like one of the youngest people in there because not many other people were their lives at that time. And he was always so kind to me, and he's like, don't hang out with these because everyone would like go out to a bar afterwards. I remember one time, or a couple times, I like went with them, and then he's like, don't hang out with these losers. You got to do better than that. And then one day after some class, he was like, I like you, you know. He was like, you know, I at my life because I was like clowning on myself. And then he told me that he allegedly was a part of a murder in Mexico, and he did 25 years. And he's like, but look. And I go, well, we're in an attic breathing in asbestos, so I don't know if I want to be looking at that. But hey, made it out. Hope he didn't do it. I met this guy who had blood is thicker than water tattooed across his chest, and we would make out sometimes. And then my teacher's like, don't hang out with him, he's a criminal. And I'm like, and he very much was. And I really was like, this is like a movie, and he's not gonna be a bad boy anymore. And then he tried to sexually assault me. Ah, God, my 20s were fun, you know, they were fundamentally bad. Oh, and then I had to go to this thing called Mothers Against Drunk Driving, which is really, really earth-shattering. So Mothers Against Drunk Driving, MAD, is where you go to some massive assembly room at some college, and a mother or sometimes a father who has lost their child due to a drunk driver comes in and shares the story of their kid, what happened that night, what happened to the driver, did they get jail time, this and that. And I remember I was sitting next to this guy, and at first we were like I God, it was so chaotic. We were like flirting, and I'm just doing anything to not feel at this point. And then the mother comes out, and she shares the story of how her son was driving, and he was her only son. Ooh. Okay. It really stuck with me. But how it was her only son. He was driving home to tell her that he had just gotten like engaged or something. And he was driving, and he had just called her and been like, yeah, I'm about 15 minutes out. And she was like so excited to see him. And then a drunk driver hit him and killed him instantly. And the driver was so drunk, he didn't even know what he had done. And she shared this story, and she like starts weeping, and I don't know the strength that she had to sit in front of a room full of like 300 drunk driver. I mean, it was a full ass assembly. I'm like, oh damn, society is really falling off. How about that? This is also right before Uber. Old broad. Or maybe Uber was just starting to be a thing, but not many people were with it yet. But I'm really happy that Uber and Lyft are, you know, things. I wish we had better public transpo, but at the end of the day, what are you gonna do? But not drink and drive. But anyways, she shared this story, and then I look around, and like I'm weeping. The guy next to me, we just completely stopped. Like, you know, we're just sitting there just just solemn, and just, it is you can hear a pin drop. I never forgot that. And I was just like, oh, wow, I was so obviously I don't want to hurt anyone else, but because I was a selfish 20-year-old at the time, I wasn't thinking about anyone else. I was just kind of like, oh my God, this is gonna my life up. I don't have a car. And then like when that was happening, I'm like, oh, I could have killed someone. So it was very impactful. And even if I would have been able to keep my license, not from having it taken away from getting diagnosed with epilepsy, my doctor reported me to the DMV. That's what that was. That's another story for another day. But I know for a fact I would not have done that again. I was like, oh, okay. And then I really stayed away from drugs for a couple years. And then I dated this psychotic woman. Oh God, that was so bad. But you know what? You live and you goddamn learn. I stayed away from drugs, and then I got into probably like 2 to 3, I think 2 relationships in my 20s that I got back into drugs for. And I just really have to know, I feel like I've learned now in my 30s, I don't want to date anyone who does that. Because honey, it's like, I got things to do. I can't be out here doing poppers. I can't be doing Molly. I can't be doing this stuff. I'm like, I have things to do, people to see. Also, honey, I already have depression, and these drugs, the come down. One of the last drug come downs I had was in 2022, and I'm like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna make it if I keep doing this. Like, I actually am not gonna come back from this. So I had to stop that, and I've been drug free since 2022. And we've had little spurts of drug free in between, but no one's perfect. Okay, well, I don't know if anyone even listens to this, but if you did, don't drink and drive. And if you did listen to this, even if it's because you're clowning on me, literally thank you. Bye.
My head was down.